So you clicked on this video because you are a good girl and you're tired of being a good girl. You are tired of being there for everyone when no one is there for you. You feel exhausted because you care too much for too many people while no one cares for you. But then what if I tell you that this badge of being a good girl that you're wearing all through your life is actually the very thing that is making your life miserable? That being the good girl is the worst thing you can be. Yes, there, I said it. Give me a few minutes and I promise that by the end of this video, you will understand that there's actually a heavy psychological cost of being a good girl and you don't want to keep paying that. And after watching this and listening to me, if you still feel that I'm wrong, you are free to block me on YouTube. Now, if you are still with me, let's go back to my childhood. Growing up, I was never considered a good girl. Like, my parents would never say it in front of our relatives that, oh, our daughter is good. Whereas the other daughters in the extended family always got that sort of support and that validation. And as a teenager and young adult who was going through all of this, I often found myself wondering, what is wrong with me? Why do my parents have so many complaints about me? Being the eldest daughter, everyone expected me to be right at all the times. And even if I made a mistake as a child or as a teenager, I was not taught. I was scolded. As if I was supposed to know everything already, and if in case I didn't, then I was the bad person. Now this whole cycle really fucked up with me. I became so sick of people expecting everything from me and still not appreciating me. But as a child, there was only so much that I could do about it, right? So then, somewhere in my late teenage years, I accepted it. I accepted that I'm anything but a good girl. And once I accepted that, here's what started happening. I started growing up as a rebellious adult. Someone who would question things, who wasn't afraid to fight, who wasn't afraid of any sort of confrontation, who started doing things because they felt right, not because they pleased other people. And somewhere along the way, I trained myself to have no fear of being judged and no urge to please people. With the time, that became my identity. And in hindsight, that identity became my shield. And then that shield became a personality that people want to learn from me. And how do I know that, you ask? It's because along the way, I met so many people. Most of them, especially girls, would question me for the way I lived my life. They'd say things like, Twinkle, you're not easy. You don't agree. You don't get impressed. You express too much. And you don't care if you're loved or not, if people like you or not. And then in the next sentence, they would ask me, how do you do that? How did you become so strong that the world's validation and comments just doesn't touch you? And to answer this question, let me put it out there. I did not do it on purpose. In all fairness, it happened slowly. Probably with childhood neglect, with trauma, and with years and years of therapy and reading and writing and sitting with my thoughts alone. Until one day, I just started owning who I had become. But if I actually and truly think about where this shift happened, I remember watching this series, The Vampire Diaries, and there is this dialogue by Damon Salvatore that made all of these things very concrete in my life. The dialogue says, and I quote, when people see good, they expect good. And I don't want to live up to anyone's expectations. That sentence right there became the motto of my life. Because look, if you keep being good, people keep raising the bar. There is no end to it. And that is absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with it. But the problem that I have is that if you fail them once, they will quickly point all their fingers at you. And you know what's the most messed up part of all of this situation? The definition of being a good girl. Being good means sacrificing yourself, having no boundaries, keeping yourself last, being a pushover, caring for everyone even when deep down you know that no one cares for you. But here's what I want to tell you. What if we redefine what being a good girl means? I was reading a book recently, Untamed by Glennon Doyle, one of the books that left a huge impression on me. And I read this line that made me put that book down and ponder upon it for days. And that line goes as, being bad had almost killed me, but so has being good. That line right there is the psychological cost of good girl syndrome. And let me tell you more about this good girl syndrome from my experience. It doesn't just make you tired, it actually rewires the way you see yourself in this world. Think about this. Did you find yourself checking up on others before checking on yourself? Did you find yourself asking questions like, what do they need? What would please them? Am I behaving okay? Is this version of me okay? That habit of overthinking over time destroys your relationship with yourself. You start struggling to make decisions for yourself. You can't express anger. You can't say no without drowning in guilt. You can't disappoint someone without feeling like you have done something criminal. And the biggest problem of this good girl syndrome is with anger. Good girls are trained to show empathy, sadness, and politeness, but not anger. Good girls cannot say things like, I have boundaries and you just crossed it. And when they cannot express themselves, when they cannot get angry at certain situations, people think that the anger does not exist, that probably slowly this anger will disappear. And let me tell you, it does not. It comes back as worry, as resentment, as trauma, as burnout that hits you out of nowhere, as bitterness you cannot explain, as irritability towards people you actually love. And anger is not the problem here, because you know what? Anger is an emotion, and just like any other emotion, it's a piece of information. Anger is a piece of information that is sent to your brain when you are hurt, when you feel that you matter too, when you feel that something wrong has happened to you. And when you suppress it for a longer period of time, you lose the ability to defend yourself. You lose the ability to understand where you end and others begin. There is no line in between. And one day you will realize people surely admire your actions, but nobody truly and actually knows you. Because you are putting up a show. On the outside, you are calm, capable, admired, put together, but on the inside, you are exhausted, emotionally hungry, and you feel completely unseen. And if you're still not convinced with this, I'm pretty sure you must have seen people around you who seem to have it all together, but then all of a sudden, they will quit their jobs, or they will break down, or they will travel to another country to reinvent themselves, or they'll blow up a relationship that seemed perfect from the outside. It all happened because they kept living by this good girl syndrome for a longer time than their body and their mind could take. So then, what can you do about it so that you do not fall into this trap and not live half of your life pleasing others? I want you to understand this. We are not taught to be good. We are conditioned to be good. And that conditioning runs so deep, even as you are listening to me, you would feel that being human will feel more wrong than being good. Because humans are allowed to express anger, love, sadness, whatever. But being good, you are conditioned to choose. Now again, Glennon Doyle writes something about it that must make sense in your head. She says, and now that we don't have to be good, we can be free. And as someone who is almost near her 30s and has lived her life, I truly believe that. But getting to this mindset requires you to do something that scares you. It requires you to disappoint people. Because again, this author writes, and I quote, every time you're given a choice between disappointing someone else and disappointing yourself, your duty is to disappoint that someone else. Your job throughout your entire life is to disappoint as many people as it takes to avoid disappointing yourself. If you are watching this, sit with that statement. Pause, screenshot it, make it a motto of your life. And here's what I want you to leave with. What if being good meant not picking the side of yourselves? What if being good meant you can be kind but also have anger? You can be generous but also have boundaries. You can be soft but can also say no. What if being good meant just being human and just being true to yourself? Because it is not honorable for a tree to wilt and shrink and disappear. It is not honorable for a woman either. And trust me, I love you. And with all the love that I have in my heart, I'm saying this to you. You are not here to shrink. And no, I'm not asking you to go out there and hurt people. I'm just simply saying that I want you to make a decision and understand that who are the people in your life who want you to be shrunken down, and who are the people in your life who want you to bloom, to express yourself fully. And then once you're differentiating between them, decide whose opinion truly matters to you. Decide if your source of validation, if your source of existence is internal or external. It is not that I'm saying all of this because I'm a saint and I don't need validation from anyone. I too seek for validation because I am human. But I know that there are only a few people whose validation matters to me. Everything else is just background noise. Because let me punch you with this statement that if you're still performing goodness for everyone else's approval, you will eventually become a sacrificial lamb. You will not even realize when you will sacrifice your career, your thoughts, your entire fucking self, just so other people around you could be comfortable and they can tell you that, oh, she is such a good girl. And it will take them just one day, one moment, one brief moment of your failure to point their fingers at you and say that you were wrong all through this fight. And that moment is when you will feel that no matter what you do, you will still not be appreciated. Because the people who will love you, who will truly appreciate you, they will appreciate that for even the smallest and the most imperfect thing you do. And the ones who don't, they won't even appreciate you if you die for them. Yeah, that happens. Please understand this. There is always a psychological cost of being a woman. But speaking from the experience, the psychological cost of being a good girl is always higher than the cost of being yourself. The choice is yours to make. And if you enjoyed this video, share it with your girl group. Because I want you to be the woman who uplifts other women around her. Let all of you grow together. Let all of you become the brainy baddies. It took me days and years of hardship to get here and understand all of these things that I'm explaining it to you. But you can get started early if you just subscribe to this channel. And I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care.